Hello, anime lovers. Welcome back to our anime huddle. And today we are going to be talking about My Hero Academia Season 5, its third episode, episode 91, Class 1A versus Class 1B. And oh my god, is this episode just hype?
Yeah, it was amazing. I love the direction that the director took by adapting this part of the manga because I have already kept up with the manga. And it was just so amazing, to see it actually come to life with the animation, the music, the voice actors. Everything was great.
Oh yeah, the OST in the beginning. Oh my god, that was so good.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but in the beginning of the episode, we get like a very, very, very small recap of what happened on the previous episode. When Midoriya goes into the Vestige, and I just love the texture that the animation and the drawing was in. It was just so visually pleasing, and I think maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I think this is how I imagined the Vestige was going to be animated, and it was great.
I honestly thought it was just gonna be just black pit and Midoriya just being surrounded by blackness, but
Right.
I love the aesthetic they took with it. So let's get into the episode.
Sure.
Okay, so one thing I really don't understand is, of course, Midoriya goes to All Might, his mentor, to see what is this thing of the vestiges. I mean, we know he's putting in the work in the morning, doing that run, but he can't stop talking about it or thinking about it since it was such a surreal dream. So he goes, of course, he talks about it with All Might, and he really doesn't know what exactly is this about since he's never gotten it. And I really don't understand that. Why though?
Yeah, it's very interesting. So All Might does say that he did experience something similar, by looking at all the predecessors of One for All. However, he wasn't able to actually speak to them like Midoriya did, and he actually says like, how come the first wielder of One for All was able to actually talk directly to Midoriya. That's what kind of weirded All Might out. And of course, he was gonna do his own research before actually giving an answer to Midoriya and telling him more about the power and lore that comes from wielding the power of One for All.
Yeah, and something very interesting that they said in their conversation was that as each generation passes on, their quirks are going to get more and more powerful and they're going to get harder to control,
Yeah,
which goes to the theory, sorry, which goes to the theory that maybe Midoriya is going to go ahead and end all quirks in the future.
that's actually a very interesting theory. The theory that Juan was talking about there was the quirk singularity theory, which I believe it had already been somewhat present in the previous seasons of My Hero Academia, but I think this is where they actually bring it to the forefront. And I mean, if they brought it up, it's because I think it's gonna become important. So, I mean, that's actually a very good theory. Like, Midoriya ending all quirks, question mark. I mean, it can happen.
And then we get new costumes. Of course, we had already seen it in the OP, but oh my god, Bakugo's costume looks so amazing.
Yeah, I just love it when, the characters you love and appreciate dearly, they get like a makeover, a glow up per se, with the costumes. And yes, Bakugo looks freaking amazing, and it was a good setup for what was about to come because they are about to join train with class B. So it was about to get crazy.
Yeah, and of course, we get so many other characters. I think Yuri Rose only added a cape, which I think looks pretty cool. But that was the only thing she added. And of
Mhm.
course, you can go ahead and look at the little nitty gritty details of each character and how they changed their costume, which I think is pretty cool. And of course, Class 1B. Oh, that rivalry is just hilarious.
Yeah, I love it. But I mean, it, they bring up like good points, because we always think of class 1B as being inferior to class 1A, just because we have spent like literally all of our time just watching class 1A develop. But in fact, class 1B has been, progressing at an astounding rate. They are great heroes as well. It's just that, class 1A has been faced with more crisis events, and there's just that difference in experience. That's the only thing. And I think we're gonna see this in when we actually get into the actual battles of class 1A versus class 1B.
Oh my god, and then Shinzo comes out and he has those bandage wraps or whatever Aizawa has.
Yeah.
He also has them, which makes him look super cool. And something that was very clever was when Shinzo said, "This is my start line," which was a callback to My Hero Academia Season 1, Episode 4, that the title of the episode is Start Line, which is when Miitoria is going to go ahead and take his exam for the hero course, which just goes ahead to show you that Shinzo is really trying to go ahead and put in the work to be a hero. This is his dream and he's going to go ahead and fight for it. That mask, oh my god, I thought it was just for aesthetics, but he can change his voice frequency so he can mimic anyone's voice, which is just
Yeah, that mask, not only is it very aesthetically pleasing, it serves an awesome purpose. And I was thinking about it, like like previously in the episode, we had seen Midoriya and All Might, walking in the hallway talking, a little bit more about the whole One for All situation and the vestiges. But Aizawa and Shinzo, had like walked in sort of at the same time, implying, that Shinzo and Aizawa had been doing something together, maybe training, and the fact that Shinzo has those wraps around his neck, we saw how good Aizawa is. We have seen how good Aizawa is with those wraps, when he fights. So if Shinzo is able to pull off like the same level of skill using those wraps, then he's gonna be super awesome, and on the level of basically Aizawa. And now with his quirk, he's gonna be someone powerful. I think he's gonna become a very, very good hero.
yeah, and I can see why Aizawa was able to take him in. I mean, Aizawa, his quirk is quirk erasure, and when we saw in season 1, he was fighting against all of these villains ninja like. So maybe he's gonna go ahead and have that same fighting style, hand to hand combat with those bandages and using his voice to disorient the villains, which I think is gonna be really cool if they can implement it correctly.
Right, yeah, yeah, makes sense, makes sense. And then we actually get, the actual fight, the first fight between class 1A and class 1B. And honestly, I didn't think that they were going to start the fight between class 1A versus class 1B like in this episode. I thought that they were gonna, and probably in the Shinzo reveal, just kind of like stay there. But I just to verify, I looked back at the chapters, and this episode perfectly animated two chapters of the manga. I thought that they were going at an extraordinarily rate, like fast pace, just because they had animated like a portion of the battle, of the first battle. But I think they're going at a good pace. Like animating two chapters per episode so far. So I guess we'll see where the first part of My Hero Academia takes us, and which will lead us right into the League of Villain arc, which I am very excited about. But I'm just waiting to see when it's actually going to happen.
Yeah, and these fight setups look super interesting. It really feels like a random slot. Not like Horikoshi went ahead and planned every single fight. It actually seems random. So I am really excited to go ahead and see these fights unfold. Class 1A versus Class 1B. But go ahead and tell us in the comments below which fight you think is going to be the most interesting. And if you're a manga reader, don't go ahead and spoil any of the fights, please. We want our anime watchers to go ahead and enjoy it as well. Anyways, if you like this episode of Anime Huddle, don't forget to follow us on social media. Link is in the description. And like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Leave a review in the comment section below. That was it for our Anime Huddle. See you next time.